Two Queers and a Truck. And I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner with Gunn, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon.
Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in a Truck time, and it's November 12th. Woo-hoo! And keeping track at home, obviously, in real time, we'll be it's not even midterms, but there's a lot of heated elections and special elections across the country. Even California's got a couple things on the ballot to kind of decide what's going to happen next year. There's a lot to go on about. And this is Christian and Gersemi, and I'm about halfway awake. So for you guys, we do have a time differential. I'm in Hollywood now, and I've got a Hollywood background. That is actually not a live photo, but a photograph of an iconic inflatable on the roof of a business here in Hollywood, and then Christian's on the other coast, so he's 3 hours later. So, and I had an off morning anyway. So here we go. We're gonna make it an interesting recording, but we'll jump right into the special elections that honestly may be setting the tone for next year. We won't know who won, but the person leading the election in the New York City mayor's race, Mandrani, is the progressives' favorite, the Democrats' favorite. No, maybe not the leadership's favorite, but the rank and file voter has been crazy about this guy. Over this last weekend, he even made an appearance at a gay bar and was hooping and hollering and getting people to get fired up about this election and really making this a people's election, a very populist message. He talks a lot about progressiveness and something that we don't hear a lot of in being proud of being progressive. And the Republicans, his political enemies on both sides of the aisle, are really not wanting this guy to win for a lot of reasons. He's not an establishment candidate. His established candidates running against him is an independent, which is the former governor, and it is high drama. But the reality is, the people of New York City want big change, and typically I don't talk about New York City, but it's one of the few elections that's caught and captivated the country, and hopefully this guy wins. I know that New York City was very disappointed with the establishment Democrat, which was Eric Adams. I know that it's kind of a parallel to what happened last year, except the opposite. The New York City's got the candidate they want. They got the candidate in the lead that they want. And
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think makes him so much different than your typical progressive person like ALC or some of the squad members that are considered progressive, or even a Bernie? What do you think makes him? Because he's saying the same thing they are.
Yeah.
But he's not as. I mean, obviously he's being billed by Trump and the MAGA as a communist, as a social, all the words they try to use to try to tear him down. But it's not sticking to him.
I think.
What do you think makes him able to do it, and it's not sticking to him as much as it would some of the other ones who've tried the exact same thing?
I think the difference between him and some of the other Democrats that have carried that progressive label is one, he's much younger than Bernie.
Okay. Yeah.
Bernie has a track record.
Yeah.
So I think people can decide for themselves what he has and hasn't done in Congress for the last 40 years. He hasn't really done anything. So progress didn't really come with Bernie.
Sure.
With AOC, I think she's kind of in the same boat as Bernie.
Yeah.
I think there's also sexism. I think
good point. Yeah.
I think just like with the last two candidates that were women for president, I think New York City would have a tough time electing a woman.
Okay.
I think there'd be rampant sexism. I think he's got the right combination of qualities that sets him apart. I think the fact that he's not a white guy, I think he's not a straight token corporate suit white guy that we see Democrats and even Republicans rubber stamp out a certain kind of person.
Yeah.
I think he's saying the right things. I think he's sounding aggressive.
Yeah.
I think it's his aggression and his tone that is very much more MAGA-like.
Yeah.
In the way that he's not backing off his ideals. And also because he's a man. I do think a lot of it has to do with who he is and his optics as much as what is he saying. And I think it's a combination of all the above and the fact that we're almost 1 year into fascism. You know, and I mean,
that helps.
flat out this time. I mean, they're literally rolling the tanks. And so I think it helps that he is so hated by the right wings, the right wing nuts, that he's galvanizing the left side of the ledger as far as voting. He's bringing out the vote. Hopefully it comes out in, droves in favor of it today. We're going to see.
But you know what? Can I add one more thing that I noticed? I have seen him on The Daily Show. I've seen him on the podcast shows. The I've Had It podcast. I've seen him on a bunch of shows. I've seen him on late night TV. I've seen him on, I've been watching clips and clips and clips and clips of him. One of the things that I noticed is I've never seen him not smiling or not, I've never seen him mad. You know what I mean? He's always been pleasant to watch.
Yeah.
Well, and he's not a bad looking guy. You know?
I think
and so I agree with you. There is a lot of sexism because it seems like we're obvious and I guess I'm guilty of that. Sometimes when you see a woman talking passionately, you just automatically equate that to she must be angry. And I agree with you. I think he's given a lot more grace than women just for the fact that he's born a male. Plus, they're trying to label him as a Muslim. They're trying to label him, but he is a person of color, but there's some colorism there too, because he's not a dark person of color. He's a very lighter skinned person of color. And so there's a lot of things being played in it. And it's kind of hard to kind of like pinpoint, what is it that he has that is not sticking? And so I just find it incredibly interesting because it's frustrating the heck out of the MAGA people who are so used to using those words like communism. He's a Muslim. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. And so he is a very unique candidate that we don't often see all the time. And so anyway, I just curious what your take was in West Hollywood. What was coming out of your circles.
And I also think too, both the candidates he's running against are both quite a bit older. Cuomo's 67.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a very big comparison.
You got an energetic, young, dynamic male. He's attractive. He's got this fierce nature, and quite frankly, he's taken Cuomo's checkered past to task in the debates. right when it just threw Cuomo off guard. He's been really good in the debates. He's not backed down at all. He's taking on the issues. And he's keeping it simple. He's running the way we've said Democrats need to run.
Exactly.
So one of the reasons that if he does have success today is because he should be the blueprint for 2026 and 2028 and beyond.
Yep. It's like he's been watching your show.
It needs to run exactly the way he's running. And if every Democrat would run this way, would win, and it shows proof positive in a very polarized election with two institutional candidates, that nobody in the establishment, the hierarchy of politics, wants this guy to run. So he's got that going for him. But there's a lot of people that saw Trump initially that way, that he's above the fray, that he has this lone wolf, I'm for y'all, I'm on your side. And it couldn't be further for the truth with Trump. I mean, obviously, he couldn't give a shit as long as he gets elected. That's the only result he wants. But that doesn't matter. And in retail politics, in especially populist politics, it's just winning. And he's showing what Trump showed, which is in any politics, if you want to fight against the same old, you got to align yourself with the people, at least in your words, at least in what the expectation is. We're up against our first break, actually. And we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck. Hey, everybody. You can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. Happy
Hi, everybody. This is Yorense from the Espera Cash Show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA. Go to your nearest homeless shelter. Go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities, by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is, one, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. Two, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And three, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people died to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who stormed Normandy, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Yorense again from Espera Que, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism and have a wonderful day.
And we are back. And I think, to further highlight this, because we're now, as of this broadcast, if you're hearing this live, we're a little less than a year away from midterms to decide if Trump's going to keep going the way he's going, or we're going to be an obstacle that we're going to slow him down.
Yeah.
Hopefully California has voted yes on Prop 50, which allows us to reschedule or redo the district lines for California, which will be decidedly blue, to counteract Texas and the other states that have already done this. And this is a very consequential election because we've lived through, almost 10 months of fascism. We've seen a full-blown authoritarian American president that has taken every rule and reg that they can break and has broken it and has defied anybody to stop them. And of course, he's got a rubber stamp Congress that doesn't even work. And he's got a Supreme Court that is decidedly red. That's some members are probably on the take. And so you got everything in his favor. it's really up to the lower courts to even slow this guy down until the midterms next year. And Democrats have got to get their act together. They should have got their act together this year. I'm hoping that they see the same old is not going to win against this guy anymore. We're going to have to see some passion. We're going to have to see some life out of the Democratic Party. To be the opposition party, you got to be the opposition. Like
exactly.
Not to put too fine of a point on it, not to make it simple, but honestly, politics is that way. For the rank and file voter, the most rank and file voters are not going to be policy wonks.
Yeah.
They're not going to be intellectuals. They're going to be regular human beings that have friggin' lives. Now, maybe the Democrat voter is not quite as dumb as the Republican voter. We may not be able to have a Trump run, but there's got to be a little bit of what he does. And what he does isn't dumb. It's actually pretty friggin' brilliant. And the MAGA modern Republican has learned one thing: just win. Just win. And it doesn't matter what I do when I get in office, because my voter don't care. And for the most part, Democrats don't care either. Plus, you're in, unless you do something that you can get caught, and make it illegal that you got in. But if you just earn the votes any way possible, it doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it too. And what makes Trump successful, what hopefully made Mandrani successful in New York City, what is going to make people successful is that people are looking for a candidate to capture their heart and soul. It's almost like a courtship. And it's less applying for a job, and it's more about swaying hearts and minds, but especially hearts. And people want to see a leader. And I think Mandrani in New York, of those three, comes off as the mayor of New York. It's as if he was already mayor. Like he almost is running like an incumbent in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because you feel that leadership.
I agree.
He's energizing a city that it needs help. New York City's got a lot of challenges. It's a massive city. There's a lot of problematic things, and it does need a reboot. And he's got to make people believe in that large behemoth of a city that things are going to go his direction. And a city like that's under fire from Trump. Trump wants every reason in the world to get aggressive in that city. And if he gets a stooge candidate, either the Cuomo or the Republican, he's going to just have New York City's going to be a doormat, and every candidate running that's a Democrat next year is going to have to convince the people that they're running for, we don't want to be Trump's doormat. We need candidates that will dig in and fight this guy every way possible. And the anti-Trump message has to, because people are appalled by watching him deploy the military, and there's enough fuel out there that you could almost run an anti-Trump message this year, this coming year, and be pretty dang effective. You do need to, in local elections like New York City, they do have to talk about New York City issues. But you can almost take the path of whatever Trump would say. You take the opposite side, and you're probably going to get the progressives perking up. Like he is the most. But if you have some populist ideas that are timely, and you can really say, I am going to be the opposition, no matter what other my teammates do, whether we take back Congress or not. In my personal race, I assure you, every day I'm going to find a way to stop this guy. And he's run as that rebel candidate. He's saying, we got to stop this kind of stuff. We got to think outside the box. We've got to push back about where our society's going. And people are hearing it, and they wanting it. everybody in this country wants to hear that message right now, because it has been a disastrous, tacky 2025 where we see Trump tearing
Crazy.
down the East Wing of the White House.
It's crazy,
We,
crazy,
we,
crazy.
we see things they're doing that not only are against rules and regs and laws, they're just doing it at will. We're seeing citizens picked up. We're seeing the worst of the worst. We're seeing everything that Harris predicted and more.
When and I'm saying this to be humorous because this is kind of an inside joke between you and me, Gersemi, and maybe the people who followed us for a while. When Matthew Ridenhour, former Mecklenburg County Commissioner, who was on our show, our other show, our sister show, in the early days when we gathered together in the when you haven't heard from him in 5 years at least, okay, since he ran for office, he ran for Congress, right? Remember during whatever. Haven't heard from him at all. One moment when he takes the time to post on my personal social media page defending Trump, saying that tearing down the East Wing is all a lot to do about nothing, and this, and yada, 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 and compares it to FDR, which he got the facts wrong, yada, yada. When he takes the time to troll me on that, you know you're in trouble. You know that they are so scared that it was such a boneheaded move that he felt like he needed to take the time to try to slow down the crazy by trying to throw a wrench in it. And that to me highlights how much MAGA and the MAGA bros and Matthew's a Christian nationalist, and the Christian nationalists, how scared they are that the pendulum has started to switch back.
Well, at the end of the day, and this was evident in the first administration, but it's more so now, they know there is a tipping point. There is a tipping point.
And I think we've hit it.
I hope.
I would say hope. I hope. I'm like you. You're right, because you and I've been through a lot. We got. You can't take your pedal off the metal.
I think you've lost. It is not because of Republicans. It's because of Dems, and I watched a lot of great success of the Biden administration just get squandered. I've watched historic things like Roe v. Wade overturned in 2022, way before the election. It wasn't like it happened a week before the election. It was overturned almost 6 months before the election in 2022. And women still, Democratic women and moderate women still were lackadaisical in that midterm. We had another woman run for president, and all the bluster of the Women's March was a fart in the skillet. It was almost like the Women's March never happened.
That's true.
It's almost like as if the pussy heads had never come out.
Yep.
Because
they dried up.
And blew away. And their ballots went with them.
That's right.
We're up against our second break on that note, and we'll be back with some more Two Queers in the Truck after these important messages. Hey y'all, this is Jetty with Two Queers in the Truck, and Christian's along with me, and we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season, and super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it, and we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye y'all.
Bye y'all. Bye boo.
Bye boo. But you're not wrong. It did dry up and just blew away because we saw young voters, women voters, so many people that have voted for Biden in 2020, 18 million Democrats, just not show up. Didn't show up in the midterms and definitely didn't show up in the presidential with supposedly a younger, more progressive candidate. And after a lot of progress with Biden, and pretty much he kept all of his campaign promises. I mean, you almost have to say, what's it going to take for Democrats to wake up? Is it going to take 2 years of authoritarianism? Is it going to be too little too late? And who knows that? But one thing I do know, Democrat leadership is going to have to change. And our tactics are going to have to change. Because the times themselves will not make the candidate. The candidate's going to have to run like FDR. The candidate's going to have to run like McDroney. They're going to have to run with some fire in their belly, and we're going to have to be very selective in which butts we put in the seats. We can't put the Cuomos anymore. We can't put the also-rans in. We can't ever let Harris run for president of the United States again because she did a bad job. And the timing was horrible. Democrats should never let Republicans and the public influence who we nominate. And if we see a situation like Biden again, which I hope we don't, which is an aged out candidate that should have been asked to step down in 2023 and do the right thing. When we questioned it all, we should have changed the process. We knew that he should have been just a one-term president. You can't elect an almost 80-year-old man and expect people to see another 4 years in this guy. Because unlike Congress, where they can rubber stamp somebody till 90 years old, they're not the executive of the country. And the president, even though they've got a massive team, a president has a massive cabinet and undersecretaries and minions and a huge, huge staff. Trump doesn't do hardly anything for himself as a president. He has so much free time. He's out playing golf 3 days a week most of the time. Most of the time, like on Friday, he did that interview with 60 Minutes, and then he was off the rest of Friday, all Saturday, all Sunday.
Yeah.
Off Monday. I don't even know if he's done actually any public work today. I don't even think he has anything on schedule because even Jeff Tiedrich said he's doing his once a month disappearing act again. Because I guess he's going to, I don't know if they're doing the Lazarus weekend at Bernie's treatments and they re-energize him and get him up, hopped up on goofballs and Adderall and things like that to get pumped up for another month of living. And reattach the puppet strings, that are attached from there until it gets to Russia. But whatever it is, that they do during these hiatuses, because now here lately, especially about once a month, this guy disappears for an extended period of time, and it's being picked up by independent news media because obviously the lapdog media is not going to report. They're afraid. They're afraid of this guy. Look at CBS. Look at the infomercial that 60 Minutes ran with Trump, where they recorded 73 minutes of time. That's all up on YouTube. So they got the full unredacted, long winding bag of farts and grunts and noises from Trump. And maybe 3 coherent words, and they spliced it down to 28 minutes to make him semi-coherent. And it's still the final interview, just with the edited down. It took it from 73 minutes of record time to 28 minutes. This is how incoherent this guy is. Yeah. And they did the same thing with Dr. Phil a few months ago, where he was on the Dr. Phil show or got interviewed by Dr. Phil, and they had to just slice and dice just to get a few coherent sentences together. Yeah. And this guy, not only he's way beyond more senile than Biden was last year, but he's also just nuts. He's gone off the deep end. The rants, the raving, not only are we being led by somebody that has been degraded down to just a mumbling bumbling old man that doesn't care. What does he have to care about? These are his last days. These are his last days. And he's going to do anything he can to protect his empire and his legacy. He's shut down Congress to keep the Epstein files from being released. So much so that there's a elected congresswoman from Arizona that hasn't even been sworn in yet. Because she's the 218th vote for the Epstein files. That she basically almost ran on that. And these elections, these special elections, these off-year elections, everything we're doing right now sets the stage for a year from now. In so many ways. Beyond today, this month's elections and special elections this fall, it also sets the tone. Are we going to roll up our sleeves and fucking fight? Are we going to say enough is enough is enough? And as Democrats, if we want to be the party of progression and progressiveness and forward thinking, we gotta fight, y'all. It's not enough just to have good ideas. The good ideas lose us elections. And what I mean by that is almost afraid. It's almost like a mother may I. And what are we exactly afraid of? FDR always encapsulated it best. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. We're afraid of a boogeyman that doesn't exist. And we got to get going. We got to protect the people. This is about a triage of our country now. A triage that's under authoritarian rule. We got to point out the obvious. It's not even hard. They're feeding us the lines. We don't even have to come up with material. Everything that we need to run on next year has been handed to us. And what they're telling us, and I'm speaking just to Democrats right now, so Republicans, you can listen if some of y'all do listen to this show, which probably some of y'all do. Democrats, if you're listening, and I hope you are, I hope there's campaign managers that listen to this show. I don't mind y'all stealing the stuff because it's quality stuff. If I don't say myself, it's bigly good stuff. You better fight. You better not rest on our laurels or assume because it's so bad that people are going to vote for us. There is another condition where people just go, nothing's going to change anyway. It's just the lesser of two evils, and at least I know what I got with the Republicans. Why people don't trust Democrats? From candidate to candidate, we really don't know what a Democrat is. We run quite a spectrum, and we're a party of cowards. And I'm going to say it. We are a party of spineless wimps with occasional a couple courageous people. But our leadership are wimps. We proved that last year. When we basically let Republican slur campaigns remove Biden out of the race because he fell asleep in some debate. So did Trump. I mean, Trump's literally been falling asleep for 2 years. Fake a shooting and put a giant maxi pad on his ear, and he was still able to win. Despite losing the debates, despite looking incoherent. So let's be real. It didn't matter if Biden slept every day. We let them paint our candidate a certain way, and we believed it. And that's with Biden keeping almost 99% of his main campaign promises. That's what got us authoritarianism, was apathy. It was not hate. It was not love. It was apathy. 18 million Americans, for some reason, thought they were too good to go to the polls. Fuck you very much. Cowardice. Cowardice will lose the day. Y'all don't be cowards. Don't be afraid. The water's fine. Get on in. Feet first. Jump on in. No more toe dipping in politics. Do it or don't. But for you guys that want to run mamby-pamby campaigns, get the fuck out of politics. And especially get out of the Democrat Party. We don't have time for cowardice. We got to storm that hill. We got to take that hill. And if you're not willing to take that hill, I'm going to say it the way the Army will say it. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. But hopefully it changes into at least following somebody that has guts. And that's probably if Mahendrani did keep his lead. That's probably why he won. Is why so many people, the lady in Arizona won. Is at the end of the day, we want to follow a winner. We want to follow somebody that's brave enough to listen to us and walk on through. And that's it for this week's show. Hopefully we learned some lessons. And we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck. And, pay attention to what's going on in the country right now. Take it all in before the new year. And start developing your resolutions. I know it's a little early to be talking about New Year's resolutions, especially during Turkey Month, but what else do we have to do besides look forward to a tryptophan post-Thanksgiving haze and malaise, but and get excited for Black Friday and all the sales across the country for those of the people that can afford to actually do it. But anyway, we have to think about next year today when it comes to politics and life in general. What do we want to see different? Make your resolutions today. Figure out a plan. Let's go forward. Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.